Well, here we go. Major championship week, and your friend, everybody's golf channel friend, Brandel Chamblee, is at it again with his comments. And I want us to talk about that, understand what he said, and have a discussion, a cordial discussion, the best we can. Leave your comments down below about what you think, your thoughts. And my invitation is to Mr. Brandel Chamblee, please come on the podcast. Visit the podcast. We're in San Diego now. I would love to have you. We'll sit down. In person is the best way to do this. Have a friendly conversation. It might take an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. It doesn't matter. We'll talk about all of this and many other things. I'd love to have you on to not hash it out, but discuss it out in and hopefully an intelligent. I try to be as intelligent as I can. I'll do my best. But I'd love to have you on, sit down, and we'll do it. I know you're in San Diego more than ever, so I'd love to have you out. But let's go through his tweets, his X comments, and just see what he said to get context for what we're talking about. Here's what he said here on May 11th. He said, but each person who acquiesced to the inconveniences that the Nazis imposed on the Jews in some way contributed to the Holocaust. Okay. We're not done, though. Then he goes on and says, to take the money of a country that seeks to oppress their own people and to kill those who speak out against their oppression is complicit in that oppression. He's talking about Saudi Arabia and LIV and the people behind LIV Golf. This is what he's talking about. Okay, right? He's entitled to his opinions, as we all are, and that's fine. To compare it to the Holocaust and the Nazis is, in my opinion, a bit extreme. And it's kind of like saying, I mean, you're comparing one. It's not apples to apples here at all. It's not even close. But I'm going to let you all comment below what you think of all of this. It goes on. We have a response from Next Time Is Now. And he says, the reason most play professional sports is to earn a living. If somebody offered you generational wealth to play a game, you would be an idiot to turn it down. Okay. That's that person's opinion. And Brandel says, well, the fact that you think anyone who would turn down profit for principle is a sad commentary on the past few decades. And you. Okay. So I get that. Not everybody takes money. Some people have principles that they just won't take money for. Okay, fair. Everybody has their opinions here. And we have a couple more to go through. Brandel says, let it die. On the way to the Holocaust, this is what too many people said to each other. Trivial. Inconvenience. The inconveniences the Nazis impose upon the Jews. Okay. I don't know if that's what people were saying on the way to the Holocaust, but who knows? And he goes on and says, LIV is not about golf. It's about buying the success of the West and pretending to be a surrogate to that success. Not too indifferent to the way the Nazis sold the success of Jews as the reason for their party's failures. Man, it's just tough to compare something to the Holocaust, to like the worst of the worst in basically human history, and you compare LIV Golf to that. That's difficult. And then Brandel says, because LIV isn't concerned with their players' careers, they are only concerned with how the players can help MBS/PIF obscure their human rights abuses and diversify their economy. The players, puppets, sold their businesses at a discount, and LIV simply bought a moment in time. This is in line with all the other things Brandel has said. Now he's calling the players puppets, sold their businesses at a discount and LIV simply bought a moment in time. Strong opinions. The thing is, the players, you could say they sold their business, but it's not like the PGA Tour gave them much of a business. They had a career on the PGA Tour. You can say, though, that because of what they have done, the PGA Tour has dramatically changed. That is fair. That is true. They have changed in a huge way. And many players currently on the PGA Tour have benefited because of that. And if they hadn't gone to LIV, this never would have happened. So we're leaving that part out, that a lot of positive changes have occurred on the PGA Tour purely because of LIV Golf. Now, a number of players took money and they said, for whatever reason, they were going to LIV. Some said, I'm taking the money. Some said, I can't turn this down. Some said, for whatever other reasons, they wanted more freedom. They wanted less tournaments. They wanted more opportunity to do their own things. And they're doing that. Okay. So I will say that this is why I want Brandel to be on the podcast, because this is not I think about it, it's kind of like when you were a kid and you used to run up to somebody's doorbell and you ring the doorbell and you run away and hide. And then when they come out, no one's there, you laugh at them, right? And that's kind of what this is. It's a tweet, an X post is just you're ringing the doorbell and running away. And you don't really get to answer questions and talk through it. It doesn't have the context that I think it desperately needs. That's why I would love for Brandel, let's sit down for an hour, 2 hours, 4 hours. It doesn't take, I don't care how long it takes. Let's discuss the whole thing so we can get full context here. Not just a doorbell ring and I'm out. I'm going to say what I'm going to say and then there'll be some comments, but I can choose or not choose to respond. Let's talk about it because there's a lot, I would think, inconsistencies here. You have this concern about one entity, a country that does a lot of things that you disagree with. So the players that took money are supporting that, is what he's saying in his posts. You took the money, therefore you're helping them cover their atrocities in human history. That's what you are responsible for because you took the money. Well, what about people who give them money? Who give those behind LIV money? Meaning you're using oil. You're using products that they produce. You're giving them money. So which is worse, taking their money or giving them the money? Because a lot of us are doing one or the other. What about aspirin? What about Bayer aspirin, who was responsible for making the chemicals used in murdering millions of people in the Holocaust? They made it. So what about that? When you take an aspirin, are you now guilty of what they did in the past? Based on that tweet, you kind of are saying that, yes, you if you engage, you're responsible. If you support them in any way, shape, or form, you're on the hook for it. You're doing what they did. Oh, I just took an aspirin because I had a headache. But that's the company that was responsible for a lot of horrible things. So that's my question, Brandel. What about that? Do those principles apply in your scenario? How about oil? Oil, you drive a car, you use oil. You have a phone. What about the cobalt mining in your iPhone? What about the other communist countries around the world that you buy products from, that you support for various reasons? Because you watch the Olympics and they're in their country. Because you use this clothing or this product, it's made in that country. That oppresses their own people and imprisons the people that speak out against it. Or how about if you're of a religious affiliation and these countries don't allow that in their country? and murder those that practice certain religions. What about that? Are you support? So it goes on forever. So when you compare LIV golf players to being part of the Holocaust and you hold them to that level of atrocity, that's where I find it's a little challenging, because there's just so much more to it than just that, right? Okay. All that being said, I want everybody to comment, like in an educated way, in a non-emotional, hopefully, way. A lot of people get charged up about this topic. I get it. Me personally, I like to have a conversation. I'm open either way to understand. Like, I want to understand, like, I don't mind changing one way or the other. That doesn't affect me. What I want to know is, I want to gain knowledge, but I want it to make sense. I want it to be understandable. I don't want it to just be, well, I don't support that because of this, but the other stuff I'm not even going to worry about, because it should all kind of fit together, right? If you believe something, then you believe it. You don't believe it occasionally when it applies in these scenarios, but then you don't believe it over here. Either gravity's real or gravity's not real. You can't have gravity and not gravity. So that's kind of where I feel like his posts live, in this world of like, well, I'm going to apply it in this scenario, but not across the board. Why not? You can if you want, but you choose not to. All that being said, personally, in the battle between LIV and PGA, I think the PGA Tour is winning the battle. I think they are reaping the benefit of golf in its current landscape. Matter of fact, at a week during the major championship, the PGA, that's not a PGA Tour tournament. That's from the PGA of America. You go back to the Masters. That's not a PGA Tour event. That's Augusta National. They put that on. The Masters, they do it. Not PGA Tour. So who gets the credit for those? Who reaps the benefit from those events? The PGA Tour does, because they have a tournament the following week. And they have a tournament the following week after the PGA Championship. And the USGA runs the US Open, not the PGA Tour. But who reaps the benefit? The PGA Tour reaps the benefit. The PGA Tour reaps the benefit from all the players getting together during the major championships, the LIV Players. And so in other words, every event, because the PGA Tour has it every week, it's consistent, it's predictable, it's there. All of that being said, they're winning the battle in golf right now. Because LIV it's all over the world. You don't really know when a tournament is or when it isn't. What time zone do we get to watch it this week? I don't even know. It's inconsistent. What channel? Where am I going to see it? We don't even know. And you're supposed to know, but it's there. It's like it's not every week. It's all around the place in all different time zones. And it's just not really helping themselves is what's going on. So why hasn't there been a deal when LIV has offered over $1 billion to make a deal? I think the PGA Tour is, at first, knee-jerk reaction, let's do whatever it can do to try to make a deal. And now they're like, hold on. We don't need a deal. Let's just wait it out. The numbers are going up. Our views are going up. Everything's moving in a good direction. We don't have to do anything because we're winning the battle and reaping the benefit from every tournament, whether it's ours or the PGA of America, the USGA, Augusta National. It doesn't matter. They're winning the battle. And they got Rory winning 3 events already this year, big events. Scotty's up there. Justin Thomas is up there. They're doing okay. And I think they're winning the battle. So I don't think this type of thing is even relevant for Brandel to be saying that harshly negative stuff. It's almost like punching a guy when he's down. I'm not saying LIV is down, but I wouldn't say they're up at the moment either. You might just not want to poke the bear, is what I'm saying, and he's doing it. And there's no need for it. If I'm the PGA Tour, I would be like, Brandel, chill out, buddy. We're winning the battle. We don't need you to spark any of this stuff and say controversial things. Please cut it back. That's what I would say. But I say, let's sit down. Let's talk about it all in a real, intelligent, long form way about this and everything else that's going on in the world of golf. I think it'd be a great time. Let me know what you guys think. Good luck out there. See you guys soon.